Having a minimal toiletry bag when you travel can be a really tricky balance. So today I'm going to show you my favorite travel hacks and tips when it comes to bringing a small but very effective toiletry bag. So let's dive in. Hello there, my name is Emmy and I love to travel. I have traveled on and off since I was 16 years old. I am now 40 and I absolutely love traveling. It can take you to some amazing places, and for me it took me from my native home of Sweden all the way over to Australia where I now live. But the thing about traveling is that packing the right way makes a big difference. And I've done a bunch of videos. I've actually got a whole playlist that I will link up here for you, as well as down below if you want to check out my packing tips and hacks. And they're applicable whether you're traveling longer trips, like a month plus, or if you're doing just a short weekend or a week-long trip. So check that out if you want. But today we're going to talk about my travel toiletries. And full disclosure, again, I was talking about this in previous videos, I'm not particularly fancy and I don't often update my luggage. I buy things that work for a really long time. So let's start talking about the toiletry bag that I use. So the very first thing to look at is the type of travel toiletry bag you're going to use. Full disclosure, I used to have this one. This is one of those fold out ones that hangs on a hook. This is old and worn and a little bit dirty and I'm actually about to throw it out, but I bought this in the year 2001 at Gap in the US when I lived and traveled around the US, and it has served me so well. But it is really old and worn, so I actually upgraded it, and I'm not sponsored at all, but I upgraded my carry-on luggage, I'll link that video up here, to this brand. So not affiliated at all, but I really, really like it because this toiletry bag fits a lot of the criteria that I had with this one. My main thing for a toiletry bag is to have a hook so you can hang it. My partner and I do a lot of camping, but even if you're in a hostel or a hotel, sometimes there's no bench space to put your bag on. So this one has a nifty little pocket here with a hook. So you can actually hang this whole travel bag up, get it off the wet counter or whatever you're dealing with. So for my type of traveling, this works really well. In this particular pocket, it's a smaller pocket. I've just got things like earplugs, band-aids, cotton buds, some Panadol and things like that. So this pocket here both has the hook in it, but also those kind of basic items. We're going to look at all the stuff inside it, but essentially just a quick sneak peek. It's got a couple of inside pockets and zips. And I like that it's got a fair few compartments because when you're traveling, you want to be able to keep your things kind of separate without over cluttering the bag. So this bag has worked really well. I've only had this now for about 6 months, but I'm really liking it. I've taken it on a really long trip. We went over to Europe for 6 weeks and it really stood the test of time. So next up is thinking about the type of traveling you'll be doing. So if my partner and I are just going for a long weekend or something, we will share the one bag. So we would just take this and share it between the two of us and put the things that we need to bring both of us in this one. If we're going for a week or longer, we typically will have one toiletry bag each, but we will also think about how long we're going to be away for. So for example, when it comes to shampoo, body lotion and bigger things like that, if we are away for a longer period of time, he might have a larger shampoo bottle in his toiletries and I might have a full-size toothpaste or something in mine. So we try to divide it up and share it. When I was backpacking through Asia and Australia with my good friend, we did a similar thing. So she would have the conditioner in her bag, I would have the shampoo in my bag. So think about who you're traveling with and where you can kind of spread the weight between yourselves, obviously also depending on the trip that you're doing. So next up, you're probably wondering, well, Emmy, what do you have in your bag? So let me show you that. So I already showed you this compartment here, which it's not overly full at the moment, but like I said, I just keep some basic kind of medicine stuff, some band-aids, some earplugs. Often I will also put my face mask, my eye mask if we're going camping or something like that in here, just so that it's easy to find. If I'm flying, I will put that whole little sleep kit in my carry-on, which you would have seen in that video, which I've also linked below. But if we're just going camping or traveling locally, I will still often bring my eye mask and that sort of stuff, but I will put it in here. So next up is what's actually in the bag itself. So when it comes to traveling, it depends how long we travel for, but you would have seen already the video about my minimalist makeup bag. If not, I will link that both up here in a card as well as below so you can check that one out. So sometimes when we travel, for example, next year we're traveling to New Zealand to get married. So I will be bringing my makeup bag for that trip. But often if we're just like going camping or something like that, I literally just bring 3 little things, a cover stick of some sort, my mascara and my eyebrow pencil. I will often have a lip gloss or something like that as well, or a lip balm. But those 3 things are the only thing that I tend to bring, and they fit really well in just one of these little side pockets. Next up, when we're traveling, we obviously want to smell nice. So I typically use a glass bottle deodorant. If I'm worried about weight, sometimes I'll buy a plastic roll-on deodorant. I like these because they don't take up a lot of room. And yeah, that works really well for me. In terms of perfume, I've actually got this very old perfume from the Body Shop. This is actually a perfume oil. So you just open it and dab a little bit with this applicator onto your wrist or something, or onto your neck. This one has lasted me so long. I said in the previous makeup video that I really do like Body Shop's things, but this one typically just lives in my travel bag, and it's really nice to have it. But considering, I mean, if we're just camping, I might just bring the deodorant and not be fancy and wear perfume. Next up, obviously, we've got to brush our teeth, etc. So I tend to put dental floss, my regular toothbrush, and toothpaste. A little nifty tip for you when it comes to toothpaste is I don't often buy travel toiletry size things, but if we have a little bit left in a toothpaste tube, I will normally put that one in the travel toiletry bag just so we can kind of use it up. This also means it takes up a lot less room, and it's interesting because normally a full-size tube of toothpaste will be about the same price as a little travel size one. So that's a nifty trick if you are looking to save some space in your bag. Next up, we have washing ourselves and our body. And very often, I will just have a small sample size. This shampoo, again, not sponsored or affiliated in any way. I got this from a good friend of mine. Thank you, Jenny, if you're watching this. She gave me these sort of travel size toiletries because she knows that I like that kind of stuff. So I will typically have a shampoo, sometimes a conditioner, but with a shampoo, you can also use it for a body wash. So if you're looking to wash your hair and your body, I often opt for a shampoo and leave the body wash out. And that can really help you save on the weight. If you don't have a travel toiletry size, sometimes I will buy those little plastic bottles that you can get at a dollar store or something like that, and fill them from your regular shampoo. So that's another option for you. Or like I said earlier, if you are traveling with somebody else, you can kind of spread the weight between the 2 of you. So when we were in Europe for 6 weeks, we actually had a large bottle of shampoo that my partner and I shared. Next up, we have washing our face. And because I don't wear a lot of makeup, I tend to be a little bit less, I guess, worried about washing the makeup off and things like that. But I often tend to have a small travel size face wash that my partner and I share because it is important when you're out, even if you're just out camping and stuff like that, obviously, to wash your face. When it comes to things like this though, and if you are a contact lens wearer, which I am not, and neither is my partner, but those little cases for contact lenses are really great to bring small amounts of stuff, especially if you're only traveling for a week or something. So you can put face cream, you can put face wash in the individual little things, because usually you only need a very small amount. So that's a really great hack that I saw on another travel channel, and every now and then I will ask friends of mine if they have those little cases to spare, and if so, I'll ask for them. But at the moment I don't have one, so I'm just kind of using a simple brand travel size one. Also, I live in Australia, so sunscreen is typically also something that I bring, but I don't always put that in my toiletry bag. So normally my partner and I will bring an SPF 50 sunscreen in about this size, and that will usually go in my handbag or in our day bag, so we have it with us when we're out and about. But normally we bring a slightly smaller size for the occasion, or if we're driving and camping, we do always have sunscreen in the car that we can put on, because here in Australia the sun is very, very harsh, so definitely make sure to bring that. And finally, talking about skincare, I normally bring about this size worth of a cream that works for my face and in a pinch also for my body. This is something that I got for free. I went to a spa thing a little while ago, so this little size came along. This is a face moisturizer. But when this runs out, I will probably wash this out and use this little tub to refill because it's a good size for traveling. So I can highly recommend as well. You can buy those little containers, like I said, refill containers, or especially when it comes to face products, usually you need so little that having those little cases for contact lens liquids is actually much better use than having this large size. But again, my partner and I will often share this, and if my body gets dry or my arms get dry, I will sometimes use the same product as well when I'm traveling. So when it comes to brushing my hair, I've long looked for a good brush that works for my hair type, but also that doesn't take up a lot of room. And I found this little one in, I think even just in the local grocery store. This is great, by the way, for like scalp massage and stuff. So I actually use this one. My partner started using it as well. So he obviously has his own one, but normally what we do when we travel is that we share a brush, especially if we share a bag. But this one is tiny. It really does not take up a lot of room in the bag, and it works really well. And that is essentially all that I have in my travel toiletry bag. It all fits comfortably in this size, and I think sometimes we overthink things and want to bring everything with us. Again, it will depend on the type of trip that you're doing. Every now and then, if I'm traveling and I know that I'm not gonna have access to wash my hair as often as I normally do, I might have one of those little travel size dry shampoos with me. But typically if we're just going camping or something like that, which is the most often for us, I won't bring that or bother about that. You know, sometimes a sports cap and a hairband can hide really messy, nasty hair for a little day or two if it needs to. And that is it. That is how I usually do things when I travel. Bringing smaller containers is definitely a good thing to do. And if you can go to a dollar store or something like that and buy the smaller bottles, that's obviously a great option. A little hack for you if you are traveling with refillable bottles is to put a little bit of plastic cling wrap inside the cap, because that way if you are flying and there is pressure building up, if you have a little bit of cling wrap here, it will actually stop leakage in your bag, whether you're a checked-in bag or it's in your carry-on. So that's a really good tip that I learned when it comes to refillable bottles, because it's so common that you open up your bag and everything is drenched in something very nice smelling, but it's not really how you want to start your holiday. And that is all I usually bring when I travel. The one thing that I didn't show you is this little travel first aid kit. In our car, when we go camping, we have a full first aid kit, which is really good to have in your vehicle if you are away and further away from civilization. But this one I always put either in or near my travel toiletry, so I remember to bring it. It's got some band-aids and gloves and antiseptic wipes and a couple of things like that. So this one is really good to have in like the day bag when you're traveling or something like that, or just keeping it where your toiletries are in your hotel room or your Airbnb. But there you go. It doesn't have to be harder than that. I think my main philosophy, both for traveling and other things, is to keep it simple. You need a lot less things than you think. And specifically for the ladies out there, you might think, oh, well, I need to bring my hair straightener or my hair dryer. First of all, most places that you stay, unless maybe not campgrounds, but other places will have hair dryers that you can usually borrow. And or maybe just let it air dry and just lean in and be a little bit less fancy. At least that's how I often travel, and it works really well for me. I also would love to hear your favorite travel toiletry tips. So please leave in the comments below what your tips and tricks are. How do you keep the weight and the volume down of your travel toiletry bag? Looking forward to see you in the next video, and have a great week.